Like if you want your caustics to look bad or if you want them to look good. Shaders Plus is a Blender plugin that promises really fast, really nice caustics inside of Blender, where traditionally you would have needed something like an Octane or something like Cinema 4D. Made some videos about using Octane inside of Blender. I figured I would go ahead and do a comparison video and see the positives and negatives and how Shaders Plus compares as something that's faster and potentially more native to Blender. Caustics are light patterns that form when light is reflected or refracted off of a curved surface or object, and is often visible as patches of light. I've been a pretty big proponent of using Octane inside of Blender, so you get to use Blender the way that you're familiar with, but you also get all the benefits of Octane and the way that it handles light, the way that it handles shadows, the way that it handles reflection, metallic objects, transparent objects. It's a very cool mix of the two if you don't want to do something like learning Cinema 4D. Rendering caustics is traditionally very intensive on your computer. Shaders Plus is supposed to be solving this in a way that's lighter and faster and still looks really great. And there are a couple price tiers. You have a $30 tier with the 59 presets. You have another $30 tier with modular groups that can be inserted into any existing shader setup. I believe that's the one that I got. There's also a $50 tier. The Shaders Plus you cannot use for free. So there is a free version of Shaders Plus, but that's apparently just to benchmark and has no control. Then if we compare that to the pricing for Octane, you can use Octane for free. People don't believe me, but you can use Octane for free. I use Octane for free. You do have to sign up. You do have to be online, but you can use it for free and you can use it inside Blender, which people also seem to not know. I have a whole video about using Octane inside of Blender, getting cool caustic shadows, getting cool transparent and metallic objects, if you want to check that out. But for now, let's get into the comparison between Shaders Plus and Octane. So Shaders Plus, super easy to install, which is definitely a benefit, and I'll put a link to it in the description. And what happens after you install the plugin is you get this Shaders Plus button right here. I did this version. I did the Plus modules version. It enables full functionality of Shaders Plus shaders, so I thought that enabling full functionality is what I wanted. So you have this, you have module preset, caustics module, dispersion module, thin film module. So I have our scene in here. I have it set up with this nice beach. I have this object with a basic transmissive shader on it. And you can see right now, caustics are looking cool. And I can go back and walk through this here. So your default object is more like this. So then what you do is Shaders Plus, module preset. For here, we're doing caustics module, and we're going between the output from the principled BSDF to the surface, the green to the green to the green. And this is what it looks like right off the bat. So one issue that I have with the way that this works is that the shadows are acting independently of your object. So when you change the color of, your glass object, it doesn't automatically change it with the caustics. So I want the shadow to be blue also. I have to change the color of the shadow to be blue. And then everything else that you're doing is also happening independently. That does give you more room to be creative with the way that the caustics look, but for the most part, we kind of want accurate caustics, Again, it is artistically cool to have that freedom. I feel like there's a point where it becomes more work for me to figure out oh, does this look cool? Is this right? Is this what I want? Versus something like Octane where you do still have a level of control, but it's based on the properties of that object. It's not, for lack of a better term, complete nonsense that you're just moving sliders around and having random stuff happen. So I don't know. I'll show you what this looks like. Defaulted out to white. So I've been tweaking our settings a little bit. I turned our caustic strength down, which helped the way that it looks. I usually mess with a solidify on here. This is it without the solidify. This is it with the solidify. It still is affecting our shadow, but it is also an independent thing that you're just kind of artistically messing around with. Looks cool. It looks cool. This is it with the solidify off, and it does a little bit of a different thing there. So it's, it's doing something. It is being affected. It's not affected by color, which is weird. It's not affected by roughness, which is weird. It's you can just throw caustics on anything. It does look cool, it's something, but it's not Octane, I don't know. So now we're gonna go check out what this looks like in Octane. Same object, same environment. Brace yourself here. This is the same object in the same scene inside of Octane. What are we even talking about? This looks so much better. I almost don't even understand like what the conversation is. Like Shaders Plus is cool, but what are we talking about? Like look at this and look at that. Like I don't even understand why they're in the same sentence. This is so much better. And I'm not like fiddle diddling around trying to figure out like, oh, should the object shadow be in there? Like how light should this part be? And like moving them back and forth. Like this just looks good. Like it's photon traced. It looks good. It looks good. It looks so much better. It looks so much better than Shaders Plus. So might be time to take the training wheels off and just use Octane. And then you have to pay to use Shaders Plus. Like if Shaders Plus was free and there was no way to use Octane for free, I could understand this argument. But right now I'm quite honestly baffled. I'm quite honestly extremely confused. We can dig in even further. You know, we're moving around. And so right now this is with this object solidified. That means that it's hollow. Let's check it out with solidify off. Solidify off, I mean, there's still significant cool stuff happening. There's still significant cool stuff happening. And then one of my favorite things about this, I'm gonna go back to solidify on here. Ooh, so good. Looks so good. So if we're gonna do something like changing it to blue, we change it and it actually changes the color of the shadow. You know, it's just so much better. It's just so much better. It's undeniable, you know? Like I'm making the comparison. I'm not trying to put like thoughts in your head. I'm just putting the two next to each other. Putting the two next to each other. I'm going to let you make your own decision on if you want your caustics to look bad or if you want them to look good. You know, and then just one more time, good is free and less good you have to pay money for. And you know, I'm not gonna get into like benchmarking times for the render because I don't need a faster, worse render. And here it is as blue, so there's like a full 1-to-1. You can see what it looks like in Octane, what it looks like in Shaders Plus. You can see what both of them are looking like, but I mean, the demo of Shaders Plus is very cool. I think that the demo of Shaders Plus plays to the strengths of Shaders Plus, which again is not bad. But, you know, putting a little point light in the middle right next to what you're trying to cast shadows from and doing the whole thing in the dark so you can see all the little like dispersion elements. I haven't even gotten into the dispersion coefficient in here and how much better that looks. I'm just going to leave it at this like surface level for right now. You know, yeah. So my conclusion for Shaders Plus is it's cute, I guess. I just really can't get over the concept that you can use Octane for free in Blender. You'd rather pay $50 for something that like doesn't come out as good, and like maybe it's faster, I guess, but I mean, at what cost? Honestly, at what cost? So I personally am gonna stick with the thing that looks good, that I thought looked good before, and I still think looks better now. Shaders Plus, congrats. It looks cool. It's cute. Very convincing YouTube video. As far as the idea that Shaders Plus rivals Octane in any way whatsoever is absolutely ridiculous. Nonsensical. I don't get it. Not true. Catch you next time.